Hey, Ryan Michael Galloway here with We Don't Need No Stinking Record Company.com. I'm at a place we affectionately call Shabby Road Studios. I'm with Ron Logan. You can reach Ron at Ron Logan. Let's see, just Ron Logan at yahoo.com. And so let's talk about some of the projects that we've done. We'll talk about the very last one that we did because it's probably the most developed one we did. And it's an EP. It's called Rock the Big House Down. I got a little ambitious on this one. My apologies, Ron, because I kept throwing you curveballs all the way through this thing.
Well, it was an interesting way to go. The first project we did was pretty much me doing most of the rhythm section, backing tracks, Ryan playing guitar and vocals, and maybe a couple of vocal people. But at this point, he decided he wanted to have other people involved.
Yeah, I wanted to.
But I live 50 miles from everywhere.
Yeah, so I wanted to get a little bit more, if not live, at least lively sound. And one complaint I'd heard from a friend of mine, C. Aaron Moore, was things sounded a bit mechanical on the first one. Now, the average person would not notice that. Musicians would certainly notice that because it's, you know, we're not drummers and we program the drums the best we can. So I've got this friend, Chad Ireland, who is a really fine drummer. And you know, I'll preface this with saying that, look, there's an awful lot of grassroots stuff that's being produced for $10,000 or less in real studios, or is being done with whatever time you have to do it in small studios like this. And Steely Dan, $1 million per album, 2 weeks to find a snare sound stuff is just not happening. Actually, a lot of that work has already been has happened because Steely Dan did it, and maybe you can borrow a sample from that sound or something. But my point being is that I wasn't going for necessarily super tightness, Steely Dan tightness. I was going for fun. I was going for emotional content, and I think we achieved it pretty well on this CD. Now, the way we did it was bizarre. First of all, the first song, which was "Rock the Big House Down," it is a rock and roll song in the tradition of the Rolling Stones. Actually, you know, probably a little trickier playing than that because it's a little funkier. And you know, I wanted a really big rock and roll sound, and I started by coming in here with some drum tracks. How did I get the drum tracks? Well, I have this, as we were talking a minute ago, museum piece, this Roland VS880 8-track recorder, which you can record 4 tracks on at one time. And so in order to ensure we got at least decent drum sounds, Chad Ireland, my drummer, and I got together and used his, I think it was
a Roland V drum kit, as I recall.
Yeah, Roland, if I'm not mistaken. Limiting a little bit in that the sounds are a little old. We didn't have particularly modern drum sounds, although not bad. And recorded those on 2 tracks, and also got the bass player, who was Scott Thomas from Frisco, Texas. Excellent, funky, fun bass player to play with. And I brought those tracks on 3 different tracks here, and we dumped them one at a time over the computer and got them synced up, and everything was fine. I said, you know, Ron, I'd really like to have a horn section on that. How do I bring them in and record them in here? And he said, I'm not sure you can, but can you get the guys down here and we'll try it? And I said, well, okay, let me try. So my son, again, is a pretty monstrous sax player and had all his friends together. I got a hold of him and he said, Dad, there's just no way we can get down here. Once again, I got the museum piece out. I went out to Terrell, Texas, and what I had Ron do was do a rough mix of what we'd already recorded onto 1 or 2 tracks. And then I had my horn players listen to that track and play along with it and record 3 or 4 more tracks of horns, which I brought back to Ron. He dumped them onto the computer and got them all synced up, so we had those. Okay, now I said, well, you may have heard of Mudcat Reams. Pretty good harmonica player, good blues man, about to release a pretty big record. Well, I wanted him on it, but he wasn't feeling so good. So, again, I got the museum piece out. I went over there. We recorded him doing some harmonica through a microphone and an amp, and came up with a pretty decent sound. I brought those tracks back down to Ron. We did that. I ended up doing the same thing with C. Aaron Moore because I wanted a keyboard in there. Gee, what else did we throw in there?
The tuba player at the end.
Well, of course, he was part of the horn section.
But he had his own track, so.
So we get all that stuff. I think I have the first rock and roll tuba solo. Listen to the song, you can tell me. But anyway, meanwhile, Ron's back here going, what can I do with this? And I come in one day and he's got background vocals like chick singer kind of background vocals. Well, it's all Ron, of course. And I go, okay, well that's perfect, that's really fun, and the way they come in. But my concept about the song is that I was going to bring something in, bring something in, bring something in, and every time I did, I want people to kind of smile, kind of like, okay, well it's kind of a cliche, but it's fun. And we ended up getting an organ in there, and anyway, at the end, 15 people or 14 people, somewhere around there, contributed to the song. You know, not the least of which were me and Ron. I got to play slide guitar on it. I got to play the rock and roll guitar on it. Ron did some. I think you did the organ. I think you did the background vocals, and
I might have done a rhythm guitar. I'm not sure.
Something like that. So anyway, go listen to it. Go to www.myspace.com/RM Galloway and listen to Rock the Big House Down. And now that I've explained to you and completely opened our kimono and shown you how the sausage was made and mixed all these metaphors and everything, you'd be pretty amazed. We managed to get it, and not the least was Ron's talent to get it all synced and mixed. But you know, I went all over the countryside to put that thing together. And to a certain extent, I also did that on, let's see, I can't get there from here. Not I Know What I Know, because we did that all here.
When the Full Moon Loves You.
Yeah, Full Moon Loves You. And they all turned out pretty good. And when I compare them with some just garbage that I've heard come out of commercial studios, not necessarily the studio's fault, but definitely the producer's fault, and definitely not being careful with getting things recorded and pieced together, I think we did pretty darn good. It's a very respectable EP with 5 good songs. We went simple on the very last one with just acoustic guitar and vocal, but